Good morning everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to explore how we can password protect forms. I'm going to present to you three different approaches, and basically at the end of the day you pick the one that best suits your needs. None of them are horrifically complex. It really is just a question of what approach you prefer, which one will suit your business needs best. So the first approach, method one, is we're going to hard code a password in the VBA code of that form. So if we just take a look at it functionally, we open it up, it asks for a password, I punch in my password, and nothing happens because it's the wrong password. So at this point, the form will not open, and I've chosen to display a dialog telling you it's the wrong password. Now you don't need to do that. You can make it silently fail. You could make it send a notification to the database administrator. We can add a counting loop to allow someone 2 or 3 tries before closing the database. There's all sorts of options at this point, but I've chosen simple little dialogue just to say, hey, wrong password. But if we put in the right password, as you can see, the form opens up just fine. So let's take a look at the code behind this. It really is not very complex. None of these examples truly are. But at the end of the day, we're going to come here and we're going to perform a string comparison of the input box, so that little pop-up dialog asking the user put in the password. And we're going to compare whatever they've input into that input box back against my hard-coded password. So that's my hard-coded password. So this is each time if I want to rotate the password, I got to come here and I got to change. Now my password's 1234. So you have a hard-coded value that you compare against what is the user puts in the input box. And depending if they match or not, well, if they match, it skips over this and it just opens normally. If they don't match, well, then it's going to perform a cancel true, cancel the opening event. So don't open the form. And then, like I said, I display a message box. But at this point, you could send an email to the database administrator. You could log it somewhere in a table. You can do all sorts of things. Create a counter mechanism. So you allow 2 attempts, 3 attempts, and then you close the database. These are all choices for you to make, but that's as simple as it is. I did want to mention one thing here. Typically, if we just did a string comparison of the input box against the my password, or the hard-coded password, you would be case insensitive. Okay, so for passwords that typically isn't adequate, we need to have case sensitivity. So then you have a choice. You could implement the option compare binary up here up top instead of option compare database. So you just comment this out and uncomment this. But that can also cause other issues depending in your code, depending on what else you're doing in your VBA code. So that's why instead I chose to use string comparison instead with the option of 0. And that's literally it. So this just permits this using string comp to make sure we're using in case sensitivity when we're comparing our database. Because as you see, I have upper and lower case. Okay, method number 2. Method number 2, let's close the form here. Method number 2 is we're going to use a table that houses a listing of passwords for different database objects, database forms. What does this table look like? Well, it's right here. And it really is simple. I'm just going to put here what type of object is it, a form or report. What is the name of the form or report? And then what is its password? Now, obviously, I have this displaying as plain text. Normally, you're going to have put this as a password. Some people can't peer over your shoulder and see what it is by default and things like that. But I'm making this very simple. So we have a table with forms, their names, and their associated password. So now when I come here, I check, and I'm going to put in 1234. Oops, it's the wrong password, just like the hard-coded version. Pop-up shows up. But if I put in the right password, it opens without issue. Now you're going to see the code's very similar. It's just a question of where we're getting the password from. So now, instead of a hard-coded password, I'm coming and getting my password here, and I'm using a DLOOKUP. So I'm going and I'm looking up what is the value in the object password column of the table that has all my passwords. For object type, well, in this case, we're looking for forms where the object name equals the current form's name. So when this runs, me is the current form. So it's going to ask, what's the password for me, the current form? And it's going to retrieve the password from the table. And then the rest is the same. We're going to come here. We're going to look at string comparison against the input done by the user. We're going to compare that to what we just retrieved. Retrieved here as being the form's password. And then it will cancel out if they don't match. You'll also notice an extra if is basically if no password has been specified in the table for this object, well, then you also have choices to make. So I have it that if no password, it comes here and does nothing. But you could also say if no password has been set up, I don't want it opening. That's a mistake from the database administrator. He obviously forgot to add it. There's different things you can do, obviously, but I've chosen, as you can see here, nothing happens. So it's just going to open normally, basically, if no password was provided. And we can demonstrate that very easily. Right? We remove the password, and now it just opens. It doesn't even prompt the user. But if we come back here, and we now put 1230, and now we're going to get a prompt. We put 1230, and the form opens just fine. And that's the beauty here. Now it's all controlled in a form. It makes it much easier to manage from a database administrator's perspective. But what if we don't want to have the hassle of passwords? You know, it gets to be a lot sometimes as a user to have to remember all these different passwords for every single. Imagine now if you start password protecting different forms with different passwords and things like that, and then it can become a security issue because sometimes then they just start writing them down or sharing them amongst themselves. So maybe there's a better approach. Maybe the approach is let's create a table where we're going to control which users have access to which objects. So which users can actually open a form. So they don't need to know passwords because we're going to control it based on them, their identity, their logged on username. Now I have a whole article on the subject how to get usernames. And we're going to look at which approach I use in just 2 seconds, but I'll show you the table. Once again, this is table driven. And as you can see here, I have a user Daniel2 form and our authorized user form. And that's it. So Daniel2 is allowed to open the form. Now my username is not Daniel2. So if I click it, you're going to see you are not authorized to open this form. I didn't enter any password, so it's not a password that's failing. It's literally identifying me and saying you do not have the right to open this form. But if I come here and I correct the username, because my username on this machine is Daniel, and now I click on it, you'll see it works just fine. So that's literally all it would be. We'd come here. We could say now here, Sharon, do a form. And now Sharon can also access that form. And so on and so forth. So if their username is not here, they can't open it. If you've added them here, they can. And similarly, you would be able to then just come and do, here, form, and you could say form 2. So now my user can access 2 different forms. But Sharon can only access 1. So that's the beauty here with the table is you can just keep adding as many users and control who has access to which forms or reports. And that's it. Like I showed you, it works quite the same way. And if we look at the, we look at the VBA code and we look at authorized users, how am I identifying the user? This single line. I'm using the create object WScript network and I'm retrieving the username value. No APIs, no environment variables that can be spoofed. It's one single line. And in reality, if you want to best practice, you run this once at the opening of the database using an auto-exec macro, and you can store this as a temp variable, and that way you don't need to rerun the create object every single time. But this is how it's done. So now we have a username. Now we're going to perform the lookup in the user table. We're going to retrieve the username, and we're going to, for this form, for this current object name, so the current form name, and we're going to compare that against our username. So we're going to basically validate, does it return a value? Is my user in that table for that specific form? Because that's what we're doing. Is Daniel, when it comes here, is Daniel in the table for this current form, current report? So if it is, well, then it just skips over all of this. But if it doesn't return anything, so it returns this empty string, well, in that case, we're going to cancel out and display the message box. Like I said, you could send an email to your administrator. You could log the error to a table. You can create a counter, whatever you want. But it really is just that simple. And that's it, guys. So now you have three very simple, it's just a couple, in each case, it's just a couple lines of code. This really is not rocket science at all. That's all you're looking at. The rest is error handling to make sure things go smoothly. You know, the 4 lines of code. So in all cases, this is really straightforward. They each have their pros and cons. You get to pick and choose the one that's going to make you happy and hopefully make your users happy. I prefer to use typically authorized users, because users then don't need to remember anything. It just works or doesn't work. However, in more secure, then keeping a password can be something that is worthwhile. The other thing I'm just going to mention here is, in the case of passwords, normally I don't store raw passwords like this. And even in the VBA, I normally don't store passwords just like this. I'd recommend you get into password hashing or encryption, just that extra layer of security. So even if people do access your table, unless they can access your VBA code behind it to decrypt, they still won't necessarily be able to get in. It's just that extra roadblock, you know, to lock down things as best you can. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Like I say, you have 3 different approaches. I really hope one of these makes you happy. And I guess we'll see you in the next video, everyone. Take care and have a great day.